You may or may not have picked up on this trend of doing monthly challenges. And the question is, why are people doing it? And should you do a monthly challenge yourself? Well, in a world where we're filled with the minutia of the day to day, where we're stuck in our normal habits and all those routines, we don't necessarily challenge ourselves. Now, if you're in your work and in your business, you probably have the tendency of growing and getting better. But when we're trying to get some personal development, to get better, to grow, to be a better person, to be a better worker, whatever that may be, that really comes a lot out of challenge, out of challenging yourself. And no, you don't have to do a 30-day challenge to achieve that, to grow, to become better. But it's a great way to do a small scale challenge to see if something actually fits your life. I went into 2020 not really trying to do these monthly challenges, but just doing typical beginning of the year resolutions. There were a few things that I wanted to change. First, I wanted to make my bed. I've heard so many things about how making your bed every day is just a good habit to have, and I figured might as well try to make a new habit. The second was I wanted to start reading the Bible every day. That's something I used to do when I was in college and high school, and after having kids, I haven't really been able to do it. And so I stopped making excuses and I decided I'm going to start reading the Bible every day. Outside of those new habits, I did decide to do one monthly challenge. And this really wasn't what I thought would lead into doing a monthly challenge every month for the year of 2020, but it did lead into that. And that challenge was taking a month off from drinking alcohol. Now, for some people, that might be a huge challenge. For others, like myself, it's not a huge challenge because I typically drink 2 to maybe 3 drinks a week. And so it wasn't going to be super hard, but a friend of mine was going to do it, and I said, hey, I'd love to do that with you. Well, as I started going through, I recognized that it really isn't that hard for me to drop it out. The only times that really there was a challenge was first, I went out to dinner with some family and friends who were having margaritas at a local Mexican restaurant. And one of them offered to buy me a drink. And I was like, I'm okay, I'm taking the month off. And that wasn't super hard, but then my wife and I went away on a weekend trip with some friends and no kids. And when we were playing games at night, typically we would have drinks, and everyone else was having a drink with the games and having fun. And I decided I'm going to stick with it and just not do it. Now, that was on my second month of not drinking, and I had continued on to a second month just to support a friend who also wasn't drinking. But through this challenge, what I started to realize in myself is I don't know if I necessarily want to drink or want to continue drinking. It's not a big deal either way. I don't have major feelings, good or bad, towards it. But I just realized that I don't necessarily need it in my routine and in what I do. This last week in March, I had my first beer since having taken 2 months off, and I kind of found that it just made me sleepy. I liked the flavor still, I enjoyed it, but I don't know if it's something that I want to do very often because I didn't love how I felt afterwards. So taking a challenge like that kind of allows you to evaluate some of the things in your life and see whether they're a good fit, whether you see medical or health benefits from it, or if you just see personal growth because of that change. You may find like, hey, it was great to do a 1-month detox from alcohol, and that's all I needed. Now I'm going to calibrate and drink a little less. Or you may decide to just give it up altogether. Or you may go straight back to your normal routines and find that, hey, it didn't make much of an impact to drop that out. But I think those kind of challenges start to help you to learn about yourself and realize the things that you can grow in and change. Now, as the month of January was coming to a close, and I realized that this giving up alcohol for a month really wasn't that challenging for me, I decided I wanted to try a challenge that would be a little more difficult. And that's why I challenged my wife to do a challenge of no TV for the month of February. And for some of you, that may not be a big challenge at all, but for us, that's one of our big ways of relaxing at the end of the day after our kids go down, is watching some Netflix, Hulu, a movie, and we tend to do it probably 5 evenings a week. So I wanted to see what it'd be like to remove that. And At that point, I realized as well, I think I want to do a challenge every month for the entire year and just see what happens. So, a few things that I've learned just from the beginning challenges that we've done are having someone doing a challenge with you is a huge support. Especially if you're married, just having your spouse, if they're not doing it alongside you, at least supporting you in it and not being frustrated. Because I'm sure that can be bad if you're annoying them the whole time you're doing the challenge or forcing them into something that they don't want to be a part of. So if you can have someone to do it with, that's a huge benefit. But ultimately, I think it's a great opportunity to start learning more about ourselves, challenging ourselves to do new things, learn new things, push ourselves outside of our comfort zones, and ultimately, hopefully, learn a lot of things about myself, what some of my struggles are, what are some areas that I do really well in, and what are some new things that I'm actually good at that I didn't even know until I did these challenges. For those of you watching this video, if you're curious at all what it's like, I think a 30-day challenge or a month challenge is a great way to really give yourself an opportunity to try something new without having to do a full New Year's resolution. When you give something up for a year, there's so much opportunity for you to fail. But a month is a reasonably short amount of time, and it allows you to try something and see how it fits in your life, if you like it, if you don't, and what that looks like. I plan on creating a video for each of the monthly challenges I do this year and sharing those with you to kind of see what I learned on my journey, and hopefully some of these challenges will inspire you for challenges for yourself to see what you can learn as well. Thanks so much for watching, and I can't wait to start sharing the next month's challenges. And since it's actually March right now, I've already done the TV challenge, and so I'm excited to share that one with you next. Now, for me, so many nows. I say now.